The Club World Cup will see Real Madrid's first game tomorrow. They're in action against Hilal. Well, of course, the first game in which Xabi Alonso will be in charge of Madrid. For more on this, let's welcome in, shall we, Alex Kirkland. Now, it's barely noticeable, Alex's delay, so don't worry if there is a slight pause. It's all very much under control. Alex, you're at Xabi Alonso's press conference today. What was the big takeaway from it?
Yeah, that's right, Dan. You joined me here from the press conference room at Miami's Hard Rock Stadium. A long and really quite interesting presser from Xabi Alonso, talking about all sorts of different topics. And the big sort of questions from a lot of people, well, what have you done? What have you seen in terms of what you need to change about this team, to implement in this team in the relatively short time you've been with the squad? Because, of course, it was just, I think, 6 days training in Madrid, just a couple of training sessions here in Palm Beach Gardens. He said the key thing for him in terms of what he wants to improve with the team was talking about where the players are on the pitch, the positioning, making the team more compact, making them harder to break down, making sure the players know exactly where they need to be in different phases, both with and without the ball. He said he was really happy with the work done in the transfer market. He described Trent Alexander-Arnold and Dean Howson as top players who can make an instant impact. They can fit straight into the team. He made it sound like they might well be involved in terms of starting tomorrow, potentially, because he said they've fitted right in straight away. Asked about Jude Bellingham, he said, again, the key for Bellingham, he said, is about him knowing what sort of his starting position should be, because he likes being in the centre of the pitch, he likes getting into the box, but he can't be covering too much ground because that limits his effectiveness. So lots and lots of different topics from Xabi Alonso, and it's going to be fascinating to see what team he picks tomorrow, the shape of the team against Al Hilal in this opening game as well, and the first sort of clues that we're getting about what Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid are going to look like.
And he's going to be judged straight away.
Well, given the importance that Real Madrid has given this competition, then it's not like he's using these games to figure out, all right, what is my best mix? While he's doing that, then there is the obligation not just to compete, but to win this whole thing. Such is the commitment of Real Madrid, such is the decisions that they have made in postponing the shoulder surgery for Jude Bellingham, in bringing in these players, in bringing in Xabi Alonso. They have made this tournament a priority, and so therefore, if it is a priority for Real Madrid, it means that the only thing that is acceptable is winning the competition. And so, while there is a process and a period of evaluation coming up for Xabi Alonso in terms of what he wants to do with the players, and yes, there's going to be a period of time in which the players are going to have to acclimate themselves with what Xabi Alonso wants them to do, that period has become very short. And now it's not just acclimating yourself to what Xabi Alonso wants you to do. It's about winning while acclimating yourself. Not easy to do, but that is the job of Xabi Alonso, and that is the job of these players.
And normally, Shaka, obviously, over the last few years, for example, they've come to the States. You'd have some friendlies, albeit against big opposition, but ones that weren't taken too seriously.
Not too seriously, and you're allowed to make as many changes as you like. And so Real Madrid would use this. We saw their training, and the games would be just a part of what has been a pre-season. But to Ali's point, from the time Real Madrid or this tournament was announced, Real Madrid certainly seemed to want to take this seriously, given the prize money on offer, given what it will mean, and their approach. And you fully understand that if that is how you're going to go about business, then there's only one outcome here that certainly will satisfy. There are quite a few hurdles in between here and there for Real Madrid, most notably in Paris Saint-Germain. But you understand that Real Madrid have come to this tournament with one intention and one intention only, to win it.
Alex, we've discussed a lot over the last few days the future of Rodrygo. It's thought very much up in the air. I imagine Xabi Alonso was asked about the Brazilian today.
Yeah, he was, because last time we'd heard from Xabi Alonso, he had said, look, I'm going to talk to Rodrygo. So naturally the question today was, well, have you spoken to him? And what did he say? And he said, yes, they've had a good chat, they had a long conversation, talked about how Rodrygo basically kind of disappeared from the team ever since the Copa del Rey final at the end of the season, wasn't involved at all. He admitted Rodrygo hadn't been happy, but he said, look, he looks enthusiastic, he looks keen, he wants to be a part of this. He admitted, of course, another thing is what you see on the pitch in terms of what he does out there. But all the signs so far is that Rodrygo does want to be a part of this Xabi Alonso project. Now, of course, it's a long summer. A lot of things can happen. It'll depend what kind of opportunities he gets, if he's playing, what position he's playing in, because we know that he doesn't like playing on the right-hand side where he tends to feature. He'd rather play on the left, but that's difficult at Real Madrid. So, like I say, this might be one that runs and runs. But certainly today, Xabi Alonso was trying hard to make clear that, look, Rodrygo wants to be here. He's excited. He's enthusiastic about this new era, and he's going to be a part of this team. The other big line today, Dan, we should say as well, is about Mbappe. He missed training today with a fever, the only player not to be involved in training here. And Xabi Alonso said that we're going to leave it till the last minute. He will be assessed in the morning.
On Rodrygo, Ali, we discussed it a lot while you were away. Shaka and Stevie very mean to me. I suggested Manchester City. Didn't even give me the time of day.
Well,
Which came from, by the way, Gustavo Hoffman. I didn't just pluck it from the sky.
Well, I thought it was
Don't
your
blame
research.
Gustavo now. Don't blame Gustavo now.
I thought it was this deep research that you're known for, Dan. First of all, let me just address Rodrygo in him sometimes coming across as if he's making demands as to what position he should be playing for Real Madrid.
Yes.
This is what I would say to Rodrygo. As good a player as you are, you're not good enough to be making demands at Real Madrid when the players ahead of you in that left-sided position are significantly better than you in that position, that being Vini Jr. and, of course, Kylian Mbappe, if indeed you were going to pick players that were coming from the left-hand side for Real Madrid. So he's not getting that position. You're not, I don't think, if you're Rodrygo, you're not in a place in which you can demand where is it that you're going to play at Real Madrid. So get acquainted with a role that you're comfortable with and fall in love with that position, whatever that may be. Learn to fall in love with that if you want to stay in Real Madrid. As for Rodrygo and Manchester City, I just feel like there are a lot of Rodrygos in Manchester City. I think he's going to run into the same sort of thing, the same sort of conversation. And I don't believe that Rodrygo is a player that can consistently produce for you. So he would become a nice piece to have for Manchester City, but not an angular piece. I think there is a place for Rodrygo in a lesser team with lesser expectations where he can be the guy.
Like Arsenal.
Okay, wow. All right.
Well, no, that was the other team that came out. Oh, come on, it's the other team. Calm down, Arsenal fans. I know you finished above City.
Oh, boy.
I was going to give the example, not quite of Arsenal, but give the example of Isco at Betis.
Wow, that's a bit of a drop, Ali.
But that, I think, is what I believe Rodrygo can be the guy, the player, the angular piece. And in that team, he can demand where he can play and where he wants to play. He cannot do that at Manchester City, cannot do that in Real Madrid, and I don't think that he can do that at Arsenal.